Welcome back to Robin Reviews. I was going to do a video, as I mentioned in my last one, showing off my top 5 favorite candies, as well as one honorable mention, but I actually can't find my favorite candy right now. I know it's very sad. I usually get them from Bulk Barn, but I wasn't able to get them, and so I'm going to hold that off for another time. And so I decided to, one of the latest videos I did was the pops I had from Lost, which is still the greatest show ever made. So I thought I'd go to a different show, and this one's a comedy. It's a classic. It's called The Office, the American version. I actually have drastically few Office pops. I have 6 in total, but I actually have 2 characters, and so but they're still my favorite 2 characters. And so before I show them, though, I want to ask out there, because I do, I've been getting good views, and I want to try and engage you if you're hearing this. So I want to hear, before I show you who my 2 favorite characters are, who's your favorite character, and who's your least favorite character. Got into a bit of an argument, friendly argument lately about this, and I'll tell you, so my favorite character, I'm going to leave in suspense, but, so there's 2. I think the worst character in the show is Ryan. I know a lot of people will look at someone like Jan and they'll say, oh, Jan's the worst, but Jan is written to be that person. She's acting the part of a pretty terrible person, manipulative and using Michael and whatnot. But whereas Ryan, I think, is actually written to be funny, likable, maybe. I know there's parts where he treats Kelly terrible, but I think he's written to be funny, and I just don't find him funny. But I also can't stand later Andy Bernard, which, in my opinion, when you have a character like Andy, or any character who, in my opinion, who they are changes so much, it draws away from their character. I just think he changes so much. You have someone who goes from, really wanting to do what he can to be with Erin, to leaving her, ditching her, and getting very selfish in later seasons. And so, one of my favorite episodes ever is when Jim hides his phone, but it really draws back from the character when that all happens. So I will admit that I do need to get more Funko Pops for The Office. I don't have any for Dwight, for example. I think Dwight's great. I do think, though, that Funko has maybe oversaturated the market a little bit when it comes to Dwight Pops, but there are some I want, and there's some for Michael as well. And so we're going to start today. I'm going to show you my second favorite character, and I'm going to go reverse order. So I have 2 characters here from Office and 3 pops per character, and so I'm going to go in reverse order. So I'll show you my second favorite character, and then my least favorite of the 3 pops, and then I'll end each character with my favorite pop. So my second favorite character on The Office is Stanley Hudson. I think Stanley has so many great moments and is written really cleverly. I think that the actor, everything about the character is just awesome. And so here, they're all great, but this is from the Halloween, one of the Halloween episodes, and he's wearing his samurai costume, and he's got his drink, and I believe he's got, like as we call it in Canada, he's holding a donut hole or some sort of treat. We call them Timbits here, if they're from Tim Hortons. And so there's Stanley Hudson as the Halloween samurai. You can see there, you can also get, in this line, they had Michael, Jan, Jim, and Dwight. And so that is Stanley as the samurai, and I'm just going to leave this back here. Next up for Stanley, my second favorite pop I have as Stanley would be Stanley as the sumo wrestler. That whole episode is great, but there's just something so special about Stanley looking incredibly fierce as he runs towards Jim, and you don't normally see that in Stanley. He likes his Sudoku and doesn't really do, or his crosswords. Are they crosswords or Sudoku? So I'm blanking on that. But just the fact of knowing that he could possibly be helpful in making sure his next boss is not one that he has no control over, and so he'd rather be his own boss, and so that lights the fire a bit with Stanley. My favorite Stanley pop, and to be honest, it's not even close. This is the first one I got of Stanley, is Pretzels Day Stanley. Yeah. If you haven't seen this episode, you should. Even even just for the classic Stanley moments, I just love that he's basically describing how terrible he thinks his life is. But that none of that matters on Pretzel Day. He says, I like Pretzel Day. And I can confirm my little brain fart there. It is crossword puzzles he does. And I say that because you can actually see, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but on the inside you can actually see the crossword book in his hands. And I love it when he high-fives Michael when they make Phyllis go back in line because she tries to cut in with Bob Vance Refrigeration, and so it's just a great part. And so I know what you're thinking, and if you watch The Office, you might be thinking this, you might not. Who beats Stanley in my books? Well, not many do, but there's one who doesn't. So again, I'll do my third favorite of him, and even the third favorite of this character is better, I think, than all of my Stanley Pops, and that is Mr. Kevin Malone. Kevin's got so many great moments. It's hard to narrow down a few. I don't even love his Incredibles costume, but the character, in my opinion, is just fantastic. I just watched the episode where they find out that one of the Stanford employees was in jail, and Kevin's like, "Oh, I had him explain to me 3 times what landed him in jail because it sounds like what I do here every day." And there's just so many great things. One of my favorite Kevin moments, not featured on these Pops, is when he apparently is great at doing math when it's pi, but if the same numbers then apply to, I think it was salad, he can't do them even though they're the exact same numbers. And so here you do have his Incredibles costume. Again, not a favorite moment, but it's a great costume and a great character. So that'd be third favorite. My second favorite Kevin Malone Pop is great for 2 reasons, and I'm almost tempted to take it out of box just so you can see it, but you can pretty much see it there. And so here you have, this is Kevin from Jim and Pam's wedding, and so you have 2 things. If you see at the bottom there, you've got his Kleenex shoes, and actually I think it was easier to see when it was over here, so I'll leave that here. His there you go with the lighting. The Kleenex shoes. And if you haven't seen it, he has Kleenex shoes because the management of the hotel thought his shoes were a health risk, and so they had them destroyed. I think he offers them a free breakfast to make up for it. And on top of his head, you can see his, nope, not Ashton Kutcher. It's Kevin Malone, his wig. Just... It's amazing. I love at the end of the episode when he goes to put his feet in the ice machine and says, I got 6 numbers today. 1 more would have made a whole number, phone number. It's just the way he delivers his lines. It doesn't hurt that the actor Brian behind him is a huge Green Bay Packers fan. But his delivery of his lines, his mannerisms, everything is just so good. And so that's one of them. But that's still not my favorite. My favorite Kevin Malone Pop is probably one of the more recognizable scenes from The Office, even though it's only a cold open. It's not actually part of a storyline, and that is Kevin's famous chili. Yeah, it's one of my favorite scenes of all time. That's pretty rare because usually they put like the stingers in either before or after an episode to be really, really funny, but they're not necessarily what sticks out as the best part of the episode, and yet that does. And most people you talk to, I find at least, about The Office, will say that they'll be able to quote part of that, whether it's the he stayed up all night toasting whole ancho chilies, or he presses his own onion, like whatever it is, they know. And when he wipes out, it's just the whole scene is comedic gold, and again, Brian Baumgartner just is fantastic in that scene. And so there you have it. Those are my 6 Office Pops. And so if you're big into Funko, or you know what Funko has done, feel free to let me know what I still need. Or if there's a character I definitely have to have. I'm open to suggestions. But those are the 6 I have right now. Again, starting with my 2 favorite characters. So again, if you're listening still, or if you were listening earlier, feel free to let me know who your favorite or least favorite characters are, and why. If your least favorite character is Creed, well, there's something wrong with you, but if it is, let me know why. Thanks for watching, and like, subscribe, hit the comments, and I'll see you next time.